unpredictable. It's October, so it's at the end of the season. A few weeks left. We'll be popping out just the end. Who would have thought? 40 degrees.
Like record
coming
numbers,
towards us, yeah.
Record numbers.
Record heat wave.
Rain clouds, it's lightning, fire in the background. And I've got the podcast boys. They're coming out with me for the first ever desert trip. Remote desert trip. Will I survive?
No one knows what a Ronny Dahl trip's like.
The Gunbarrel Highway runs east out of Wiluna, cutting straight through some of the most remote country in Western Australia, all the way to Warburton. From there, we'll turn south, dropping down the Connie Sue Highway, a track I've yet to experience. It's a big stretch of country, a proper remote run. But before we even get to Wiluna, we need to find camp in the dark. Lake Mason, here we come. What makes this trip special is I get to take out the Full Drive podcast crew on their very first ever desert trip. Liam Duggan, co-host and West Coast Eagles captain, and of course Jaden, the podcast producer. But there's one more thing. I've brought along the INEOS Quartermaster, and I'm going to test out the Quartermaster on its first proper desert trip. And of course, the full canopy setup. Jaden in his V8 76 LandCruiser, you may have seen that on Modify recently.
I'm a bit nervous about the car, just the age of it. It's only 16 years old, so it was 2009, but there's a few things that come with having an older car like that, so it's done 300,000 K, so.
And Duggo in his brand new V8 79 Series LandCruiser.
Excited to be so remote. First time basically going like that far out to the desert and without a whole lot around us. Definitely nervous about the car a little bit. I think there's just that getting used to it as well. Like it's only 10,000 Ks in, so I haven't been in it for a lot of time.
Everyone starts somewhere. If you're still building confidence in yourself or your vehicle, come along, making this project a way for you to experience first-time desert travel through the podcast crew.
Hey boys, come over.
Let's go, Ronnie.
This I like to do every morning. It kills two birds with one log.
What's the plan, mate? Where are we going?
The plan today, I've got a shortcut, but the road can turn into a little bit of a shit road.
Yeah, it looks like it's a bit of a tough one.
Yeah, I'm done, boys.
Righto, mate. We'll let you finish up.
We'll leave you to it, mate. All right.
Anyway, can I borrow a shirt?
No way.
Mate. Absolutely.
You're on your own.
Anyone got Tasmania?
Heading to Wiluna, the final stop before the real remoteness begins.
Trio.
Hey, Duggo, there's a car coming up. I think you're going to love it.
No comment.
On the way to Wiluna, we see an out-of-this-world van.
Mitsubishi too.
I'll tell you one thing. It's the wrong way around.
Well, that depends. All the inside's carpeted. Bed across there. Water tank in there as well. Looks like a full setup.
Perhaps a worrying sign, but this sort of thing you encounter more often than you'd think out here. Now, back to the road. Next stop, Wiluna. I've been here a few times before. Last time was earlier in 2025 to conquer the Canning Stock route.
Cable ties and duct tape. When all hell breaks loose.
From here though, we'll be travelling east to conquer the Gunbarrel Highway.
Jaden and Duggo, Gunbarrel Highway. Now, if they survive this, let's take them on the Connie Sue Highway. It's about to get dusty, guys.
Here we go.
Leaving the road for the unsealed road, the track truly begins.
I don't know if I would have chosen to do this track, just because like I'm kind of a beach guy. Like I love going to the beach and going up beach tracks, camping on the beach, like right on the waves. I wouldn't have done it without Ronnie's because it's not something that I would have chosen.
I don't know if I'm ready to do this trip by myself or even with it, with another mate or two that are as experienced as I am. So whenever something pops up, deal with it the best we can, and fingers crossed nothing pops up.
The podcast crew are about to find out how quickly desert conditions can just change.
Might have to So just get behind the car for a sec. Hey guys, you can start moving up here. This is crazy what's going on up here. Will they survive? And will the INEOS Grenadier survive? Right now is at its heaviest you will ever see.
Yep, day one. Day one.
Yep. And what that means being late in the season, there's likely little to no help that'll come past. And if there is, it could be weeks, it could be months.
The dust storm's barely passed and already the desert's made one hell of a first impression.
Mate, that was cool. That was like a little added bonus, that one. It's been good, but that was actually like unbelievable.
Bolting wind, it's piss bolting rain, and you can see everything. It is insane. Like this double rainbow. What is happening? Unbelievable, man.
Between the 3 vehicles and crew of 6, I think we'll be just fine. Not long after, we rolled into cattle country.
G'day Skippy.
And lucky for Skip, I had to pull over the quartermaster and sort out a problem on the rear. So the bottom right hand tyre we have been losing a bit of air out of. It seems to be slowing down a little bit though. That was down to 300 kPa, which translates to 42 psi. Pumped it back up to 55 at hot pressure, and we've since then lost a little bit. Until then, we head for Carnegie Station. As usual, arriving at camp in the dark. But it's time to figure out what the hell is going on with this tyre. It's a kind of foreign object in the tyre tread, and when I say in the tread, not in between the lugs, like through the big chunky lug. I've never seen this before. This is freakish. As you do, grab your nearest AFL player to help you get this metal out. Whoa! Look at that! It's like a railway spike. Oh, it definitely wasn't anticlimactic, was it? Look at that. Time to patch the tyre up.
You couldn't have been more unlucky.
Alright, I'm going to put some air in it. So come sunrise, we're ready to roll out of here. And how many plugs did we use? After 7 plugs went in, most of them came back out. Get bubbles. I think I'll have to go down to 1. But it held. Just 1 plug. And it's holding. So that there, that's just bad luck. It doesn't matter what tyre you have, this will go through it. In most kits you'd only get 10 of these. So if I had a normal kit, I'd only have 3 plugs left and I'd be like, ooh, that's not good. But we still got heaps more here. That's why we're generous in these kits, because we know that when shit happens, it could take sometimes 19 plugs. Whew. Thanks guys.
Well done, Ronny.
That was a bit of an effort, that one, wasn't it? Yeah. Carnegie Station, our last point of civilization before entering true remoteness. So this morning will be the first breakfast I'll be cooking on the canopy setup. Haven't used the kitchen much yet, but I'm already liking it. Get some carbs, fill us up. The red trundle drawer seems to make cooking a breeze. All right lads, recce's up. Leaving Carnegie Station means leaving our last point of civilization. I reckon we got a big chance of seeing some bush tucker. It always gives me a kick taking people out to the desert for the first time, and I'm really excited to see how the boys feel being very remote. But before that happens, gentlemen, we're pulling up here. I want to see how they perform on a test.
Sad to see the Ranger in that state, isn't it?
And I think you might have just spotted out the window what we just pulled up next to. It is the burnt out Ranger and camper trailer that I saw last time. A surprise scenario, a vehicle fire drill, and just 30 seconds to react. Almost to the day, 1 year ago. Yeah, some things don't end well in the outback. I set myself the exact same challenge. And whilst it might seem strange, it taught me a lot. 2.5 litres of drinking water, 15 litres of other water, some food,
Sienna's phone, first aid kit.
and impacted on my future vehicle layouts.
These two are a major fail, not having somewhere easy to grab. But all that stuff there, I'm pretty happy with that.
There's not a lot you can do really. Like, we've got a fire extinguisher on board, but if you don't get that real early and it's not safe and you're all out of foam or whatever you got in there, you're in a world of hurt really. So. Are you guys ready to roll? Take off? Yeah, mate, we are.
Hold up, just spilled something. Let's go.
Duggo, your car's on fire!
I knew it.
I lost my hat.
Coming out right. I knew it was coming.
Go, 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 go.
Grab the water. Yeah, grab the water jerry's out.
Oh, flip that.
As many as you can.
$15 seconds left.
Put them in. There you go, Jane.
I got 3, mate. I got 3.
Yeah, step back, everyone back, everyone back.
Man, how's that?
What'd you get?
3 waters, mate.
Shit hot.
Unless they're diesel. I didn't look.
No, they are water. Mate, I ended up grabbing 2 bottles to fill some water up in.
Yep.
I grabbed a handheld.
60 litres. So it helps to know where your mate's shit is, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I forgot the footy.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Did grab this, not to do on that, but I figure.
Maybe he could have bought you another 10 seconds to get something else out, but you need to collaborate on that.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, okay, so you got water, you got plenty of water.
Got water in my hat and...
You'll be right for days.
Yeah, I don't know what else is in there that I would be going after, like a bag of food maybe. Like if I had time, if I opened the other back door, bag of food there. I knew I wanted to get to this though, the UHF.
Yeah.
The handheld, that was my like...
Try and get a station.
Yeah, yeah.
Get to a high point, mate.
Yeah.
Out here, you plan for the worst case scenario. A fire extinguisher is good to have, but likely will not stop a growing fire. But it can buy you more time. And make sure you keep those doors shut, Duggo. I highly recommend trying this sometime on one of your travel mates. You might be surprised how unprepared you really are. Now here's a detour that Liam Duggan will definitely appreciate. The most remote football field in Australia. The night will be in Claypan Oval. Last time I was here,
You gotta be kidding me.
I left my footy at home and had to make one out of a dry bag filled with toilet paper.
Hopefully I can make Duggo proud with this one. Right, gets the back, snaps across the body.
This time, not only did someone bring a football, but we also thought, why not bring the captain of the West Coast Eagles?
Not exactly used to these conditions, but got a Sharon, and he's actually pretty cool.
Oh, factored in the wind and everything.
Go get it.
How does the ball go with spin effects?
And despite the heat, it will be a total waste to come out here and not at least score a few goals. Quick photo of the Gunbarrel Highway Football Club before we hit the road. Back in the aircon, we head for camp. On track to make it in daytime. But as we get closer, the clouds get darker. Maybe a little bit of rain tonight? I guess we'll find out.
Fuck, we're losing track, bro.
And to the boys' disbelief,
Camp is literally those gum trees you see to the right.
we made it to camp in the light. Just. Along the Gunbarrel Highway, there are several water bores, which make great base camps.
Ooh, yeah.
Especially when it's this hot.
That's so good. On a hot day like that.
You can have a proper wash, cool down, and more importantly, top up on vital drinking water. But just because there's a bore doesn't mean the water should be wasted.
Oh, lovely.
Fighter.
And what's camp
All right.
without a fire?
Ripping some of this out of the ground, eh?
A fire which I'm challenging Duggo to light
Righto.
using steel and ferro.
That enough?
Yeah, that's heaps, man. You're gonna put the knife there and then pull the stick back.
Cooking over a fire draws everyone in. Otherwise, people tend to disappear back to their own setups.
Yeah. Bit of oxygen. There we go.
Camping without a fire
Nice.
never really feels complete.
One turn, eh?
It's better than using a lighter and some.
Yeah, way more fun.
We've been stinking hot all day. Now we got a fire. So
Just to wash it off,
right
eh?
here.
Everyone seems pretty relaxed and smiles all
You
round.
just got to embrace this now.
Yeah.
But is that thunderstorm heading towards us? The mood changed pretty quick as the night drew in.
Alright, so there's lightning hitting all around us. But there's a couple of fires around. There's a fire over that way. And there's one over that way. There's like a glow in the background. So we're going to drive down and just have a look, see what it's doing. We've got our whole camp set up here. So we're just going to pack up our swags. I'll go for a dart down that way. And then we'll just have to make a call on which way to go.
I mean, you could see, like, you know, the top of the fire, you can see the real hot glow. Yeah. You could see that. That's how close it was.
Feeling pretty comfortable.
Yeah, like if it bolts down there right now, we'll be in trouble. So I think we'll just pack up actually.
Bushfires can spread quick in the desert and can spread over a vast distance.
So we made a decision to pack up to the west, to the south. Fires close to the track from what we can gauge. It's going to be a lot of lightning. I haven't seen this many lightning strikes for a long time in such a short time space. My swag has been out for, I don't know, maybe an hour.
This is camp, with two major spot fires to the south and west, eliminating these tracks. And no tracks north pushes us to continue the Gunbarrel Highway.
The little storm front has just hit us. There was a sudden urge to get in the car.
Boys on channel?
Yep.
We're just going to wait this out here.
Yeah. You're looking to the south, yeah?
I'm facing south. Yep, and got a view of the west as well.
Okay, that's probably good. And you're facing west, aren't you, Jaden?
Yeah, mate.
Getting out of there was the right call. Back on track to find a safer place.
Yep, we had a camp set up. Oh, that's good lighting there. But we are driving away from the fire, which was heading towards camp. Pitch black, driving into the night. And that's what happens when you arrive at camp in daytime.
After gaining some distance from the fire, it made a good place to air down the tyres for these rough tracks. Something we planned on tomorrow morning.
I think we made the right move, eh?
We eventually got to safe ground, made a camp, and got some sleep late in the night.
We're at a place was called Everard Junction. This is where we got to last night after fleeing the fire and the storm. Because all these other little spot fires, they just disappeared. So we're assuming that it could have been like a tree that's been hit and then the fire's just gone out. However, one of them just got bigger and bigger, and even as we drove through the night, we could still see it.
Let's check in with the crew.
There's a glow over there, boys. There's a fire, and then there's another one, and another one, and another one, and it just turns so quickly into something hectic.
I feel remote, very remote right now.
Over that way, you can see a bit of sand and just completely flat terrain, and then you look over there, there's a few hills. It's crazy how quickly the landscape changes.
Yeah.
With a little bit of rain last night, left us questioning what the track would be like ahead. Lads sure are getting a big taste of desert travel for their first time. Our next challenge is directly ahead, Mount Beadell. I have another challenge in addition to the rocky climb, where they'll score a point for every fact or advice they can deliver to you as they drive up.
Jaden, you are about to climb Mount Beadell. There's a memorial at the top, Len Beadell. You're going to be in low range. You'll be commentating on what the terrain's like on the way up, what you recommend. You'll probably want to recommend lockers, even though you don't have it.
Yep.
But you are Jaden Ellis. You've got this bad boy. Len Beadell opened up access to the Victorian Desert, the Gibson Desert, the Little Sandy Desert, and the Great Sandy Desert. Good luck, Jaden. I'll see you at the top.
Victorian Desert.
Off you go. Call through, you're going up.
I am in fucking danger. Going up, mate. Great, all right. Well, it doesn't look too bad at the moment, but fairly rocky. Heading up to the top of Mount Beadell. Now, obviously, they're hard pressed for mountains out here, hence why they're calling it Mount Beadell. It's not that high, it's not that big, but old Len Beadell, absolute legend, actually helped go for, helped create the Victorian Desert, Great Sandy Desert, a whole bunch of deserts. You're not doing any of this without him. He actually discovered a quarter of Australia, so he's done some big things. Mate, would you look at this? So there's a lot of rocks up here. I'm looking to stick more to the right side. I need to get all wheels down on the ground so I got that traction, because I do not have lockers. But this looks like it's getting a bit technical here, so try and stick to the right. Here we go, here we go. Don't shit your pants, Ryan. Don't shit your pants, mate. You're all good, you're fine, you're fine. Would you look at that? No. So first gear low, you get up. That's a good little track. It's a little bumpy. The suspension is handling it so well, but here we are at the top. Shout out to Len Beadell, because that is unbelievable, mate. To do stuff like this in a Land Rover, to discover what you've discovered and to help out with all those deserts, you're a hero, mate.
Now for Duggo.
On your way up, you're going to be commentating on terrain, gear you're using, how you're going to drive it, if you're going to use a locker. Len Beadell has opened up so much access through the deserts: Victorian Desert, Gibson Desert, Little Sandy Desert, and the Great Sandy Desert. Liam Duggan, good luck.
Rocky, nice easy start here, but I know it's coming. Still going to stay in first. I'm just going to stay there, no gear change. I'm a little bit lighter than Ronny, but a little bit probably heavier than Jaden, and obviously he's got the longer wheelbase, so we'll see how we go. But Len Beadell did a lot of the cutting through the 50s through this area, so the Gibson Desert, Little Sandy, Victoria, and the Great Sandy, I believe it is, and opened up almost a third or a quarter of outback Australia basically through this area, and did it all in a Land Rover with his crew. Pretty incredible stuff when you're doing it in a LandCruiser and seeing what he would have been doing and back in those conditions in the day. But we've had the great honour of interviewing Mitch, his grandson actually, who I've missed out on the latest episode with, which was a bit of a pain, but this section coming up here looks pretty hairy. So named a lot of the tracks after family members of his. So he had the Connie Sue's the daughter, and the Ann Beadell was obviously his wife. So that's what he did there, and then there's some junctions named after, obviously some other, Jackie Junction is obviously the daughter, and Gary Junction, Gary Highway, and after all that, we're at the top.
You don't know
about doing it in a Land Rover though.
Very impressed by the boys' efforts. What do you think? Whilst we're at the top, we stop in at Len Beadell's memorial, grab a couple of selfies, then keep moving. We're on the hunt for an old airstrip. Starlink on the roof has enabled me to track down this old runway that was out here. Almost impossible to see the airstrip from the ground, with this post making it the easiest to see. But from the air, it becomes much clearer.
Like, you can see it in your mind, mate. Like, you can see the planes as they come in, like they're landing. It's the 1950s.
So they would have had to have landed that way, because the B-52 bomber, the wing would have reached this, I reckon. Might have been over the top of it though.
Of course, it's not a trip with the podcast crew without...
How good?
Yeah, we must be on.
The Four Drive podcast
Yeah,
on the
talk to us,
Gunbarrel.
mate. What's going on?
Oh right.
Okay.
Well, we're on the Beadell Highway.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
I mean, sorry. Oh my God.
Light getting the best of us already. We move on to our next camp spot. You really can't get better than a fire and some red meat, and steak cooked on the fire.
Well, this is the interesting thing, and this is the breaking news from this morning, but Bureau of Meteorology have put out that there's going to be 45-degree heat
Like record
coming
numbers,
towards us. Yeah,
record numbers. This time
record
of
heat
year.
wave, and it's coming directly across South Australia and Western Australia too.
One last freshen up, and then we're back to conquering Gunbarrel Highway.
Well, this is our last day on the Gunbarrel, and it is hot. We got a heat wave coming. The gear's definitely going to get tested. Insane intense heat, so we could be experiencing 50 degrees.
And 50 degrees
Hopefully not.
is no exaggeration. It's brutal out here, but it's pretty good motivation to keep pushing towards Warburton. Then, almost perfect timing, Beadell's Blaze Tree. A reminder we still got 160 kilometres before we reach Warburton, and that we're now more than 350 k's into our journey along the Gunbarrel Highway. There's one more thing I like to try with the Grenadier. It's the same washout track I ended up on last time. The only time I've required a locker this entire run on a Gunbarrel, and now I need the front one too. Let's see if the INEOS gets up any easier. Taking a slightly different line, only because it turns like an oil tanker, twin locked, much heavier, and a longer wheelbase. I'm expecting it to struggle a little bit more. But to my surprise, I was up before I even knew it. The LandCruiser owners even gave it a nod.
The big girl can do it. That was cool.
With that done, it was just a short distance to the end of the Gunbarrel Highway.
Yeah, it's been a great trip really. My first real look at desert travel, and got some real lessons out of it in the car, in my own driving, and yeah, it's something that I'll look back on with fond memories, I reckon. I'm looking forward to what's next when we hook south and head down to Connie Sue. But
There were many lessons to be had, but I think the main one, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather. But it's not over yet.
This mate.
Congratulations.
Thank you, mate.
You survived the Gunbarrel Highway.
We make our way towards Warburton for fuel before commencing the Connie Sue Highway. Our next 852 kilometre desert stretch. Believe it or not, more lightning,
I am in danger.
wasteland,
Is this Mars?
and flies.
He's the most pissed off bloke at the moment.
This is as bad as I've had it for a while.
Many flies, extreme heat,
Bloody hot out here, brother.
Definitely one of the hardest desert trips I've done in a while.
Really don't want to get stuck out here if this rain sets in.